Two, one.
Hey, everybody. I sound like Borat a little bit when I said that. Welcome to, Menage with the Mary J. Maven. And of course, this is your girl, the Mary J. Maven. Yes, you guys are seeing me again for the week. Aren't you excited? Happy Friday. I hope you guys had an awesome week. I hope you're getting prepared for an even better weekend. And I hope that weekend involves staying your asses at home. What better way? What better way? I mean, I think people here are really preparing for it. The liquor store was cracking, okay, tonight. People were in there like crazy. So I know that I have my libation to kind of help out through this time. And of course, I'm going to be sparking up here in a bit. But before we get started and before we go into anything even further, I want to remind you guys, I know you like me. I know you love me. So subscribe, like, and hit that bell. So you guys know that I forget that every time. Hubby gave me notes this time. So I won't forget. So you can find us on IG at Menage with the Mary J. Maven, and of course at the Mary J. Maven, Twitter at MWTMM podcast, Menage with the Mary J. Maven podcast, just the letters. And you can listen on all streaming services, guys. There are 30 top platforms. We're on about 25 of them. So there's no way that you cannot find us. Also, we are international. We are within about half of the states here in the country. So share, let's get that to 50. Um, or like Kelly Bundy said, I've been watching Married with Children like crazy on reruns. And she said something about the states. I just had it, but it slipped away, and it was not right. Let's just say that. So there are 50. If you're listening on Apple and Apple Podcast, please give us 5 stars. Rate us 5 stars, guys. Help us move up here. Of course, this episode is sponsored by Shein and Monthly. Monthly, my girl Brienne, and the subscription box service. I'm going to be doing a Shein haul pretty quickly here. So you guys are going to be able to see this try on haul. And I'm going to be sharing some links where you guys can get your own haul together for the low. Got the hookup. All right. So today, I'm super, 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 super excited to have two women that I'm speaking this relationship into existence. I was very lucky enough to stumble upon them thanks to the past guest that we had, Shamika from Can I Work? And, when I find something that I'm interested in, I'm like an Instagram stalker. I am the Google, I ask Auntie Google everything that I can to find out. And I was very impressed with what I found out about this company. So I am wanting to just burst at the seams and exuberantly announce tonight's guest co host. And they are from Higher Ed Hemp Tours out of the big old state where everything is bigger and better. Texas. No, shout out to the Lone State. So I want to, how I always do, guys. I like to give you guys the floor. I want to give you the shine to introduce yourselves. So we're gonna go ahead and we will start with Cynthia. How about you go first and girl, work it out. Just shine, act like you are Beyonce or Sasha Fierce, and just take the stage.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Cynthia Morales. I know I put in there Higher Ed Hemp Tours, but I'm sure you'll work your magic and we'll find out my name somehow into it. But it's all right. I love that people can associate me with Hemp Tours. I'm an educator. That's my original background. I've been an ESL language with Spanish, Korean, Portuguese, educator, and I've traveled around all over the world actually, um, teaching. Yeah, that's actually my number one, my first career. And then when I moved back to the States to get my master's, I moved to Austin. I met Leah, became best friends, and flash forward 10 years later, we decided to come up with Hemp Tours. And basically, we're at the point of our careers where I think in my case too, I've done so much. I have always been a advocate of the plant. I started using it really more traveling rather than being in the States. I'm from Mexico originally, so marijuana, cannabis is just not allowed. It's just something that's very taboo, and so it was never even in my mind too until I got to travel and I got to see it in a more spiritual way, cultural way, other than that stigma. And I feel like that really helped out. And so coming back to Austin, behold, lo and behold, out of Texas, one of the most liberal places to be, it was amazing to see how other people were still using cannabis here, but it was people that were, they were educators and business and running, it was nothing at all like the stigma that I had as a Hispanic, as a Mexican, and that it's just been drilled in a lot of our lives.
What part of Mexico are you from?
Yeah, so from Reynosa, North Mexico in Tamaulipas. So not just across the border. We've been there at least. I was there until about 8 years old, and then my parents moved over to Texas, in McAllen, Texas. So that's where I grew up, went to elementary, junior high, and high school there. And then I was like, okay, there must be more than the valley. There
It
must
must be
be
more than
more.
football, right? Must be more than
Yes.
football. Yeah, yeah. I can
Yeah, and
relate.
so being bilingual and living in a bilingual life, I really was curious to see how that was in other places. So
Mhm.
in college, I studied Portuguese. In high school, I studied French. So I was very into like learning languages, and that was just my
Girl, let's
my
go.
what I liked.
I ain't
Yeah.
speaking the easy ones at all. Everybody here in California were like Spanish, please. Thank you.
Me.
And yes, French was hard. I was gonna take it because I liked the boy, and
always
he
the
was in class.
always the best learners.
Yeah, right. I was like, good Lord. But let's just say I didn't get past the first day. You know how you have like 3 days to change your elective and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, put me in business math. And I don't like math. And I went into business math. But that's so awesome. Portugal is one of my dream vacation.
Yes,
My
it
oldest
is.
son is part Portuguese. He's actually
Ooh.
he's like a Heinz 57. He's a few different things. But I mean the food just oh yeah, yeah. If Trump had become president again, I think I was gonna try to escape there or Canada. Uh,
Like you already had your list.
I did. It was where they were gonna take me, which, coming from the United States, are like, we're not taking any of you guys. But thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you as a guest co-host. And of course, we have one other here. And take the floor. The mic is yours.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was amazing. Well, I'm Leah Lakstins, and I with Cynthia am the co-founder of Higher Ed Hemp Tours. I'm a native Kentuckian, so Kentucky has a very interesting and deep history with hemp and cannabis, and it was just sort of part of the lifestyle growing up. I never partook in it, but I always describe it to people like growing up, it was like alcohol, terrible, you'll die. Any other drug, you will die up on impact. weed, just don't do it because it's illegal. So it was a very different upbringing than Cynthia, where, you know, cannabis was just like forbidden. For me, it was like a curiosity, because I'm like, well, that's weird. You know, they're not really straight up against it. So really became interested in it. I went to Amsterdam when I was late bloomer, like 28, and tried it for the first time. Absolutely was in love. Came back to Austin.
In Amsterdam the first time. Like, hello.
Oh man, just a really surreal experience. Actually had an edible that was way too much THC for me, but that was fine. Like, I worked it out. You know, like
Europe trip?
Yeah, total. Yes. It was like Ashton Kutcher and what was that with the tiny car? Like,
oh my God.
Completely. So it's really interesting, but I just thought, wow, if this is so stigmatized and so wrong and yet amazing and mind opening, then what else out there should I be questioning, essentially?
Right.
And
what else did they lie to me about?
Totally. It's just like, my parents were wrong, you know. So a really interesting moment in my life. Moved to Austin, met Cynthia. We just, you know, are cannabis enthusiasts, and I had some really amazing conversations, you know, about everything, and just hung out and enjoyed cannabis. And so I had spent 17 years mentoring small business owners, like helping them, which was great and everything. It was in construction, and I was just done with it, and she was done with it. And we're like, we're going to do something here. And it took us a little bit to get it exactly right. And of course, we're still on the journey, that startup life, but we're just like, man, living the dream every day. So it's been amazing.
It's so amazing as a woman when you find your counterpart, you know, that you can chill with, and like you guys can go, what do you want to do tonight? Let's like freaking get Red Box, although I don't know who does that still, but let's, you know, let's go and get an eighth. Let's freaking get some ice cream. Let's get some beer, you know what I'm saying? And just chill and have that.
2020 life, we're like, Leah, put on your VR glasses and meet us.
I love it.
Cynthia always has this really cute voice she does too, like you're at the party or you're wherever, it doesn't matter, and she's like, you want to smoke? And it's just like this perfect, like, and you're just like, yes I do.
I do. Oh my God, I can't wait for us to meet and party together.
Yes.
It's so awesome. Yeah, it is. It's the power that resonates between women when you're able to get together and enjoy the mother plant, the female plant, the way that it's supposed to be. I mean, any research that people will do, you'll find out that Cleopatra and you know, in the time of Kemet, you know, when our original people, ancestors, were utilizing the plant already, they used to bathe together in the cannabis plant, and they would just, you know, the yonis would kind of click and sync up. Hence is what's really funny when I read that, because I was like, that's why our menstrual cycles, when you hang out with each other for so long, like it goes back that far. Yeah, it seriously goes back that far. So, you know, when you really do your due diligence, shit makes sense. It goes
makes sense,
right? Yeah. So
for real,
you know, I don't know too many of us that just, you know, strip down a bathe together. I would, because I'm not ashamed of body. You know, we all have the same thing. We're all probably sagging or not in the same places.
It happens.
Yeah, you know. Oh gosh. But just being able to appreciate the benefits, the lifestyle benefits, the wellness benefits, the mental benefits, you know, your sexuality, everything that it does, it enhances being a woman. And so I have to say, guys, I know you guys love it. I know you benefit from it, but I think we do just a little bit more, because, you know, we have things that I think become more in sync, and become normalized, you know, from utilizing the plant. So that goes from friendships to, you know, your endocannabinoid system, your reproductive system, the whole nine. I mean, your skin, everything. So it is so amazing. And I, you know, so happy when I talked to you ladies the first time, and I could feel the energy between you. I mean, I was already, already had a crush because I was like, yes, two fellow entrepreneurs, women in cannabis that are doing something that is so super important, and that's education and providing a different, you know, um, lens to look through for cannabis, especially there in Texas. So, with that being said, that actually leads me, I'm pretty, I wasn't planning this, but it was a great segue into our quotes. So,
Yeah.
I actually, tonight, guys, is going to be the first time in a year that we're going to have two quotes. So, the first is, the purpose of education is to keep a culture from being drowned in senseless repetitions, each of which claims to offer a new insight. If that's okay. Okay. Super important. I know that's what my mission is within cannabis and my brand and my persona as the Mary J. Maven. You guys have heard me say it before: educate, eradicate, elevate, and those all go together. So once you provide that education, it, like you said, it prevents a culture from doing the wrong thing. I like to say, if it's too much like right, we don't do it, until it's too late. So that is the first one. And the next one is, education is for improving the lives of others and for leaving your community and world better than you found it. And that quote is by Marion Wright Edelman. The first one, it was unknown. Um, Marion, go ahead, girl, because you are speaking to my soul. What do you guys feel about those quotes? Does that strike a nerve to you guys? You kind of feel like, oh yeah, that.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. Especially, I mean, me being an educator, that's what I tell my students all the time. It's like you're there's different ways to learn.
Mhm.
Just because somebody's doing it one way, do not try to do it one way. Do it another way. And so just having that evolution is very important because I don't know. I feel like if you keep boxing people, and keeping them in the same stigma or trying to teach them the same thing without the full knowledge or the prospect of curiosity, like, hey, there's no definitive in a lot, especially in science. And in a lot of the things that we're focusing on with hemp, it's a plant ultimately, and it's a plant that can be studied. It's a plant that you can have details and facts behind it. So it's
Science,
very,
science.
yeah, it's not like we're just making stuff up out of the
Mhm.
air. It's like,
Mhm.
no,
Yeah.
these are actual, things that we can learn from and evolve. So why
And
not? So yes.
yeah, and the thing is
Yeah.
that they try to keep us, we know, the powers that be, they try to keep us from being educated about it
Yep.
because they wanted to keep brown people down.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys, if my guests are, well, I'm sure you guys are probably aware, but listeners, subscribers, if you guys don't know, marijuana, and the reason why it's, referred to as marijuana and the way that the way that it's spelled is because when the government was plotting and planning to bring people of color down, they thought spelling it that way would make it more attractive to Latin Americans and to the
Yep.
Spanish speaking community.
Mhm.
I mean, they had a plan, guys. Like, if you guys just, all you have to do is do a quick ask Auntie Google about the history, ask her about the tapes, that there are actual tapes of, of them sitting down. And I can't remember the guy's name right now. I mean, that's because I tend not to give people that are,
Alsinger.
there you go, thank you.
Yeah.
I try not to give energy to assholes, but yes, they're all recorded. Everything's recorded, guys. Everything that has to do with government and policy, everything is recorded. And there are very lengthy tapes where they are sitting down in meetings and they're plotting and planning, and they come out with these. And the way that they talk about it, you would think that they invented a freaking spaceship. Like, they were so proud of themselves. Um, so,
Yeah, and
I-
especially because of, if people really do go back and look at the history of it, how it all of a sudden is in the history and then it's not in the history and
Mhm,
then it's in the
mhm,
history. It's like,
mhm.
well, why? What
Yep.
happened? What is that gap in between? Who is gaining from this?
Mhm.
Because why is it an important thing that we need and then all of a sudden it's not, and then all of a sudden yes, we do need it again, and then no, but only for certain people and things. And
Yes.
it's just,
And
Yeah.
it's
if you
something,
are a certain, ethnicity, it's so fun.
yep.
You're just, what do you like to skateboard or surf, or you're a Jeff Spicoli. You'll grow out of it,
You
and
don't know.
yeah, you don't know. And it's like, you guys should not be concerned about the weed smoking. You should be concerned about the other drugs that they're doing in abundance.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's the issue with decrim. Like decrim's great because it's progress, but when you really look at it, it allows law enforcement to choose who to enforce prohibition on. And I think at the end of the day, we want to see it fairly, that everyone is treated fairly, and that means beyond decrim, but full legalization at the
Yes.
end of the day.
Yes, yes. And when that happens, I mean, we all thought that we saw dancing in the streets, a couple of weeks ago when we were blessed with a new leader, which was so, I mean, it just touched me. It just touched my heart. It made me so happy because
I
we've been
cried.
so, right, yeah, right? We've been so
And
divisive.
I've
We've
never
been so split
cared
up for
so
4 years.
much about who got it.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, people, if y'all don't, what were they doing? The electric slide. First of all, guys, there's newer dances than the electric slide. I wanted people to do the wobble, do something, but they were stuck on the electric slide. But to see people of all walks of life, and
Yeah. Yeah.
people were out in the streets,
All over the world.
like,
All over
yeah,
the world. That has some, like, that has to tell you something too.
mhm,
Like, all over the world.
yeah.
It wasn't just a celebration in DC,
I mean,
There's something happening.
France had like a crazy fireworks show. Canada, like they were partying in the streets, and it's like, y'all have nothing to do with this, but
Y'all have nothing to do with it. Yeah, like, what do you care?
instead of them just
Yeah.
thinking Americans are dumb, like, what did you guys do? You put a freaking reality star into office. Like, they really got what we've been going through for 4 years.
I mean, yeah, I feel it was really, like, in my other half of my work, which is dealing with international students. Like, that's what I do. I work with ESL students, and so they recently there was a proposition for limiting the amount of time people came over to study and have a student visa, and so this was greatly affecting everyone because they were like, wait, what? You're only giving us 12 months or 24 months? Like, what if I want to be a doctor? What if I want to do that? Like, there's a bunch of circumstances, and so it affected us in a lot of different ways, and I feel
so
that, yeah.
in our medical system, the majority of our practitioners are not American. Let's be honest. Okay, so the scientists, the top scientists, the top medical professionals, they're not from America. I'm not saying that we don't have them, but
The majority, yeah. Or
outside
and there,
America,
and
they have a different
also
idea about.
the frontline workers, like the front actual, they're also the same thing. And so there's a ton, especially when all of this DACA was going on. There were so many healthcare workers that were DACA administrators. Like, you're just gonna pull out a third of our healthcare workers just like that, I guess.
Who's cleaning the hospitals?
Yeah,
who's providing
exactly.
food? And I'm not saying that those are the only positions that they're in, but the
Yeah.
ones that keep the things going.
Yeah. The reality of the system. Yes,
Yeah.
this is,
Besides
yeah.
that,
Yeah.
y'all president, and I'm not saying y'all, but y'all, the rest of y'all president, how many workers did he have that were not
His
citizens?
family.
Let's start there. Yes, and the hypocrisy was just at another freaking level. But man, we have less than 50 days. Woo!
Yeah,
Hallelujah.
I feel definitely the biggest part, like, ultimately everything, it's the unity part, that everybody keeps forgetting. It's like, hey, let's stop being decisive, like, or split, and let's completely go back to it. It happened, it's done, whatever the situation is. And it's hard for some people, but at the same time, it's just needed. You have to mentally mend.
Centered and self-centered life.
Yes, exactly. You have to
Yeah.
mend. You have to
Yes.
start looking at your neighbors. I'm sorry, you do. That's just
Community. That's one thing. My husband's frat brother was visiting last night, and he actually teaches in Mexico.
oh,
And he's here visiting, and he was telling us that, he said the problem with America is that we have no sense of community. Because if you look over in Asia, they've been wearing masks for how long? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
way before
And of course, it was because of the air quality and whatnot. But
pollution and yeah.
also, yeah, they also realized that, hey, maybe this can stop colds and things like that. And when you have 100 billion people in a little, town or
Yeah, in
then
a little, yeah, exactly.
there's
Yeah.
no space. There's no personal space. So, they were very wise to
Yes,
implement
I would
that.
always I lived in China for a while, and I would always describe it to people like it was like being at a concert, like being at ACL all the time. Like just constantly like, you're just
Yeah,
crowded all the time. Do you want to live
yeah,
like
you're like, oh
that?
God, yeah.
No.
That's awesome. You
Yes.
shot some really cool places. Really cool. Really cool. So your next
Yeah.
trip, just go ahead, book your ticket. I'll be there, girl. I'll be there. Uh,
Yes.
so, guys, if you've been waiting, I know you guys are like, it is 26 minutes in, Mary Jane. Where is the spark and salutations? So let's go, guys. We're going to spark up. We have been chit-chatting here. So we're going to kind of jump into some of the frivolous little stuff that we talk about on the way. So go ahead and grab your hybrid, your sativa, your indica, in your blunt, in your hemp wrap, your dab rig,
I'm
your
getting that
pre-roll.
candy kush.
Like that. Perfect.
Ooh.
So we, of course, are, sponsored and being elevated tonight by none other than our favorite, Chapo Kingdom. So we have this
Chapo.
fire, and I'm probably after we smoke this, probably gonna hit this. This pre-roll rolled in some nice hash, fire.
Ooh.
Half of it earlier. Uh, it was a long ride home from restocking, but we're gonna hit that after. But right now, we're gonna jump into some jungle coke, courtesy of Chapo. So, what are you guys? I know that you had showed the pre-roll. Leah, what are you smoking on? Because I know you probably have a menagerie of things to choose from, Miss Judge.
I do. So I have the honor of, I was a judge for the High Times Hemp Cup in March, which was great, but there was no Texas hemp in the Texas Hemp Cup because we weren't allowed to grow yet. So this is our first time growing, and really privileged and honored to be a part of the Grow House Taste of Texas Hemp Cup. This is all Texas grown hemp flower, and I've got like about 15 varieties here. So one that I'm really a big fan of is this Oak Cliff cultivars. They're out of Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
Some fire CBD flower that they call Mandarin Pie. Mandarin Pie. So that's kind of a cool anomaly here. Like a lot of the strains we're bringing in from other places, some people are leaving the name the same. Some people are like putting their own twist on it because they're like, hey, you bring Goliath to Texas, it doesn't grow the same as Goliath in another state. So we're going to come up with some badass strain names over here on our own. I respect it. I like it. So, CBD flower is like really not that bad to you guys. Like it used to really suck. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be real with you. And it has come a long way. It's come a long way. We've got some better terpene profiles. Like it's good. It's good.
So I'll ask this in 1 second, but what's the name of the brand again? Because we want to shout them out and we want to make sure that we tag them.
Yeah, definitely. It's Oak Cliff cultivars out of Dallas, Texas. I think they're at Oak Cliff on Instagram. But you
Yes.
can definitely get that. Yeah. And
Yeah, and
it's awesome.
I'm smoking a pre-roll from Greenbelt Botanicals. Their cotton candy kush. It is so smooth, y'all. And I was not a big hemp smoker at the beginning. I mean, we took a lot of hemp tours at the beginning, and I was like, bleh, bleh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hemp flower is, it's an acquired taste, I believe. And so especially coming from, smoking more of a higher THC or higher terpene profile, yes, it's very different. But this one I really like, and I've actually we've been talking about it several times, and every time I go back, I'm like, "Do you have the cotton candy kush?" It's one of my one of my few favorites, but really good, high CBD.
That's a pretty nice rolled pre-roll there.
Yeah, that's really beautifully rolled, right? And you got the moose labs on there.
Oh my God, have you tried this filter? This is a
No,
game changer for anybody that smokes. You're a smoker. Try the mini filter from Mouthpiece. So
Mouthpiece. Oops, wrong brand. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just taking notes. Girls.
No, trust me. You can put this filter, put it on, take it. It's gonna be a game changer for anybody who's smoking. Like, you will not be able to go back to smoke without one of these. Yeah. It's really cool. You're able to take off the filter in the between, and look at all that.
Wow.
Exactly. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Now that would have been perfect for like college, when you used to just like get into a circle and smoke with people that were like wet-lipped, or they maybe had a little bump or something.
Oh my God, especially so right now during COVID times, if you really do, like, this is what I recommend. Everybody carry their own mouthpiece, and you can easily, still share. It just has
what's that?
Everything. Yes.
The social distance when it comes to a nice sesh.
Right. It's a hard one.
They only do it with people that they know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like you're just some random.
It's not the same. I know. That was one of our favorite parts. Like, every first of the month, we would have a walking tour in downtown Austin of hemp tours, and then we'd end up at Flamingo Cantina, which is where Texas Normal would meet to talk about marijuana laws, hemp laws, all of that. Well, at some point, everybody would be like, "Hey, let's spark something up. Let's do all this," and then it's right there. And everybody was just sharing. Now, there's no way anybody would ever think of doing that or doing anything like that. Like,
we went camping a couple times over the summer, and there were people that I guess thought we were just going to pass it to them, and we were definitely doing the whole passing right in front of them. So one time, like, "Oh, no, I don't smoke." And to quote the great Devin the Dude, my husband's like, "Great, because it's mo for me." So right.
That's right.
I don't care.
Devin the Dude's from Texas.
Yes.
Yeah, he is. H-Town.
Oh, yes.
Dreams to smoke with him. Hubby wants to smoke with Snoop.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Chappelle. Like,
Oh my
so
God,
Dave's here in Austin right now. He's hanging right. Joe Rogan just moved to town. Like, everybody's fleeing California to Austin, funny enough. And but Dave lives in Ohio, but I guess, I don't know, he's like doing an extended thing. So all month next month, he's playing at Stubbs, which is a really badass barbecue venue. So that's going to be wild. You can come to Austin and hang out.
Meet him. When you stumble into him, go, "Hey, so there's this girl. Her name's MJ Maven. Here's
Hell yeah.
Saw you when she was 18 at Punchline in Sacramento and hated your shoes and thought you were funny." Or to half bake, and I was like, "This guy's hilarious." And then just as grown. I mean, he is genius. Have you guys seen his like latest? Is it called Unforgiven?
The Netflix.
It is.
I haven't seen it yet. No.
I have not.
YouTube it. It's like 18 and a half minutes of just like your mind's blown. You feel like you walk away learning something, because you have so much more respect for him. I watched 2 minutes of it and I was like, "Nope, got to watch it with hubby." And he's sitting here shaking his head like, "What are you talking about?"
I just recently watched him on SNL. Did you see his SNL?
So good. So good.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I'm catching up.
25-minute freaking monologue, opening monologue.
Yes, that's what I said too. I was like, this is his monologue. Like, that was the whole show. Yeah.
He's amazing.
I loved it.
So talented.
Yeah, I feel bad that something that we all know him so much for, and we quote quite often Dave Chappelle, the Chappelle Show, that he has no control over it, and that's him. That's his thing. That's, you know what I'm saying? And
it's his name, and for to lose the rights to that, like, so sad. But that's, you know, the music industry. Like, of course, there's a give and a take, and it's hard because you have to make. There's money. It's capitalism. La la la, and then you're creative, and but it's sad that the certain industries, particularly entertainment, really take advantage of people in this way, and it's just like, oh man.
I mean, you can look back at any movie from like the late '90s to mid 2000s that talked about Black, R&B artists from back in the day. They gave them the shittiest deals, or they fed their drug habit, or they did something, and it
Yes,
continues now.
it's
Not
true.
all mumble rap is bad, but come on, if you're a
Yeah,
SoundCloud rapper,
yeah,
I would really,
Watch that deal.
yeah,
Look at Mac Miller, stay independent over here, right? Like, you don't even need that record company. What are they doing these days? Everything's like this. It's organic, social media. Like, that's where it's really at. Build that following.
I'm a huge fan of Russ. He is fire. I get why everybody hates him. I would hate him too if he was spitting the truth and I was,
and I was on that end.
yes. I mean, the dude is a self-made millionaire in music, and he comes. He's released 3 albums in a year and
But
a half.
that's also going back to like that quote that you said earlier. It's like people gotta evolve, and people think that just doing the same thing that just because you're an OG of a certain yeah, you were the great at
Yeah,
that time. It doesn't translate now. You gotta now work with how the system does, and unfortunately, social media, whether you want to or not, plays a huge part on
I
it.
mean, my husband, Eminem, um, he is one that has adjusted.
It took a while. It took him
It
a
did.
while. He was
Oof,
gone of the scene, and it was like, oh, okay, I guess that's
it
it.
hurt.
And then, yeah.
The rap god never, he was there the whole time. He planned it that way.
I know, but I know he's accountable, and he comes out now and he goes, "Yeah, I know it was shit." You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
he had some. It's Eminem. He spit hot fire. See, Dave Chappelle. Dylan, 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 Dylan. No,
So true.
you know, um, and I followed him. Since the Infinite, his very first album, which not a lot of people know about. They think it's the Slim Shady LP, and I'm like, nope, it's Infinite. Um,
Yeah, I was like, there's another one before.
yes,
The underground shit you did with Scam.
you know, loved him, and I've just watched him evolve, and he's gotten better and better and better, and he can keep up with anybody. I think one of my favorite collaborations that he's done recently is with Joyner Lucas. Joyner Lucas is like, oh my God, he's amazing. If you guys have never heard of him, please go on a
Mm,
YouTube and tonight.
I
He has one
will.
where he raps backwards. It is,
What?
it's so fire. So he says
What's his name again?
Joyner Lucas.
Joyner Lucas.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. So he recently had the song with Eminem.
Ah,
Did you say that?
And Fresh Prince.
Oh yes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, he just had one with Will Smith, who was his idol.
oh
That's awesome.
yeah. I'm
Yeah,
following him now. Look.
yeah.
Did you guys did you guys watch the fight last weekend? What did you think about, like, it became the Snoop Dogg show, which to me was incredible. I was like, yes,
Yes.
this was so worth $50. I got to see a Weed Maps ad. I got to hear Snoop like narrate this thing. I got to see him smoke and like blast his jams.
Well,
Are
Unbelievable.
you
I love that
serious?
Mike Tyson admitted that he got high before.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect, and then probably smoked some killer CBD after to help the
Oh,
recovery.
yep.
They're revving
All
on
over
all
it.
of it.
Yes. So we
Rubbed
actually
it
had a
all over.
Sacramento native fight in during
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So Blake, the gentleman who fought Badu, who lost unfortunately, but he was a white guy who like took it right. He went all 8 rounds and he ended up with like a knot on the side of his head. He fought with like a lion. Sacramento Zone. Shout out to Blake the Beast. So yeah, it was interesting, but come on, let's really talk about the good stuff.
Yeah.
Would you admit that you got knocked out by a Paul brother?
Yeah.
So this is Blake. So hubby's put that's Blake right there. Shout out.
Yeah, he did. He brought it, dude. Like he was almost down and out, and then like just there was no give up in this dude.
Yeah, super proud of him. You know, he reps Sacramento well, I think, and
Yeah.
himself well. I know he has a young son. I'm sure he probably, just kept playing in his mind, and and was his motivation. But like I said, the real entertainment. Nate Robinson.
We're not. Are we going to talk about Nate? Because that was just wrong, and I don't even know where to go.
Stop underestimating, YouTube, because everybody just made it a joke. Like everybody made it, instead of making it like white boy against black dude or whatever, it was like YouTube
against NBA.
And I really was like, I was on Twitter like, yo, is Nate alive? Because like I'm a huge Louisville fan, Louisville Cardinal. Like I'm like, this is my boy over here, and then he's just laying there, just so bad. And Snoop said it best because he was like, you can play at football and you can play at basketball, but you do not play at boxing.
Or pimping.
Or pimping.
You don't play at boxing or pimping. Like, he's so nailed it. What else can you say to this? It was like, Nate, but why did you do this? Why?
What's so funny is you heard Snoop go from like excitement, like let's go, till about
yeah, you saw the evolution. Like, demeanor totally.
Doing? Like, what were they teaching him? I mean, Jake Paul.
Who was their hype man? Like, who was their hype man right there?
I mean, for him, and I haven't seen him on any media or anything since then.
No, I saw there was like a tweet where he was like, I'm okay, and then like that was it. Oh no. And like I'm not gonna lie, because when I hear myself say this, I want to slap myself, but Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor, like, no, that's terrible, but you know what, I would watch that shit. I will watch that shit and I will like it. So
I would too. And I'm gonna tell you this, I grew up around
I won't watch any McGregor fight.
I think Paul might hold his own. I don't know. Conor McGregor's a little crazy, but let's be
That's
honest.
why I would watch.
They're both so crazy. Like,
that's why I would watch any of his fights. Like,
they're both so crazy. Like that, anything could happen. Like, man, I'd totally be somewhere. Our great grandchildren are like, look, they were savages. Yes, but you know what? I will watch that shit. I just will. I will admit it.
God damn.
I love that. I love this one.
Oh, it's so terrible.
This is like
that shit. Like,
oh yeah, and this is probably like 5 seconds after it happened. Somebody's already like tweet, meme.
On, okay. Like,
yeah, black.
So many marketers and content. Black Twitter is on it. Okay, they
oh no, no, it's so no. Oh Nate, why? But why? Why did you go back out after the first round?
That was great. I love that one.
He did.
Like,
it was like, I think accidental, but he definitely did. And when he came out in the second round, like, he's falling. He's trying to punch and he's just falling over. He's like that drunk uncle at the party, you know, that like you're just like, bro, how many drinks does he have?
That one too many.
Yeah, like, somebody get this guy a cab. And then they're just like, no, go on out for the second round. Like, you're fine. And like, what is it with, so the refs ask them if they're okay. Like, what man that has dedicated himself to this and is in the ring is going to be like, no, actually, I'm not feeling that great. I think I'm going to take myself out. Like, no, they need to be like, okay, you know what? No, you are leaning over. You can't find your own stool. Like, fuck out of here, Nate. So, don't come back out for second round.
Paul is feeling himself once he saw this meme created.
Oh my gosh. This guy.
Oh my gosh. Look, I will admit, I always kind of like the assholes. I don't know why. I think it's because people find any reason. Like when Justin Bieber was going through his like, I'm young and rich, like 19 to 22-year-old shit that all guys go through, but not everybody has millions of dollars. I was like, leave him alone. So what? He pissed in a bucket. So what? On the street, like,
Haven't you?
I'm like, what did you do between? I know
Exactly.
For real though, like it could have been so much worse for Justin. He actually was tame when you think about the context.
So I was like, you know, I love that Eminem was the asshole back in the day. I love that he talked.
I just recently heard about Eminem that apparently like when that Dr. Dre had pretty much given him a deal just by listening to him, like he hadn't met him at all, and then he was just like, oh, totally not what I thought you were. And I was like, yes, like you can't do that anymore, you know? I feel like people always know exactly, which is great, but it's always judgy level, you know?
It's so awesome. I mean, you know, 8 Mile is so close to it. I can watch 8 Mile back to back.
Yes.
And every word. The freestyle part, I mean, the battle comes up at the end, and you cannot tell me I am not B-Rabbit. Story is one that should always be motivating. Like, he failed 9th grade 3 times, dropped out, you know, didn't have a place to live, you know, had a baby on the way, was broke, had just
my God.
had everything stolen out of his house, and used his last.
These are great.
It ain't right.
Out. I mean, when he got knocked out, I feel like it took him a while to come out and see if he was okay. Like, I feel like they were like, who man is that? You know? I mean, but this fall, you know, I like his songs. I'll admit, a little catchy. I like that this kid came from Ohio, you know, and they just kind of had a dream to be rich.
That's true.
And dream big, babe.
And they did it before YouTube really stopped paying people crazy amounts of money. I am not mad at you. Not mad at all. You know,
because there's just so many more people now.
Right? So many.
It's true.
So many more. And the things that people do are just so ridiculous. I bet you're wondering how I ended up like this. Oh,
no. His eyes, though.
Like, oh my God. I mean, his body just locked up. Like, I think I've only seen that once or twice, and maybe one of those times was in a movie, so it was acted. But oh no, I have seen somebody get knocked out in college and in person.
And it hurt.
It's rough. That was real rough, you know. I did think like the Tyson Roy Jones Jr., in my opinion, granted I've been, you know, smoking with Snoop Dogg by this point, I thought it was a great fight. Like, I was entertained by it. I want to see Tyson fight everyone that won the rest of the night, because I was shocked. I was like, this dude is just as scary as 30 years ago. Like, he is.
Oh my God.
His Nate's face.
Yes. That's probably how Nate looks the next morning.
That's how Nate feels inside and outside for a while. Yeah.
Somebody had the biggest, fattest blunt rolled for him, like, and just handed it to him.
Oh, I hope so.
After his MRI, though, for real, it was just like, oh man, because you know you don't really want to see that. Like, you don't mind seeing a knockout, but like a knockout like that was just. Damn, that was some craziness. But
watch the reactions. That's hilarious to see, like, all the rappers and NBA players and stuff talking shit before.
They're just like,
"He's about to be a sleeper, Jake, blah blah blah," and then after being like, "Well, yeah,
he was like, when you bring that person to the club that gets too drunk, and then you're like, well, I mean, I know them, but. Yeah, they rode with me, but like we don't really know each other. Like it was a distant thing.
I told you not to bring them. This is what they always.
Yeah, do. Again, every time.
Buying a drink, so come on. We don't turn down free drinks. Come on, like Cat Williams said. You know, let's find people. It's like, oh, what is this gasoline? So true. We will take a.
Yeah. $2 wells, a well of what? Petroleum? Like, I don't know.
Girl, I can tell you so many. This is why you get better at drinking, and why you end up like at, you know, my young age, drinking Tito's and freaking tonic water and lime because you've gone through the adioses. You've gone through, I used to drink White Russians at the club, you guys. At the
Yeah, no, I was there. I was there with you.
like
I was there right there.
I was doing the
A
most.
white Russian, right after taking a tequila shot, or right before. I don't know, because
Half and half in the club always go together. Like what, you know? There was a club out here. It was called Brannan's, and they served upstairs. It was hip hop. Downstairs it was salsa. Downstairs, you would go down there and you would, get with the guys that had on the Wranglers and the cowboy boots, and they're fresh from, maybe. And you guys know I'm not like talking shit, but the strawberry field or wherever, they're field workers. But they were usually straight from didn't really speak English too much, but they would buy you drinks if you just got down there and let them twist you around in circles. And
I was gonna say, as long as you can dance, yeah,
black people
whatever.
and salsa. We do black people salsing, so you can tell.
That's earlier I was telling my mother, I was like, it sounds like I really worked out during college. I just danced a lot. Like that was my workout. I would just go out every night and be like, dance.
I do this a lot, but I also drink a lot of beer and cheap beer. We drink.
I mean, yes, but it was a combination. I was like, it worked itself out.
Girl. I look back at pictures now and I'm like, who is that? Thicky thick 175, but it was a lot of beer, a lot of McDonald's and shit. But
college life.
This part was hilarious. I don't know if a lot of people follow or even caught up on this, but Mike Tyson is hilarious. Okay,
that's it.
Oh, okay, he's gonna make sure he gets to the part. That's somebody else that I would love to interview on my podcast or be on his podcast, especially because we both smoke on our shows.
Yes.
That's what's really cool about everything crossing over. Like even Joe Rogan, all these people, smoking is such a big part of entertainment lifestyle. So it's blending into it.
And it's always been a part of, music. And,
yeah.
I don't know why I always think of Walk Hard, like that's a real movie. But
yes.
I love it.
You don't want no part of that, do you?
Makes you happy. You have great stuff. Well, I think I do want to try it. I do.
I think I want that. Seriously though, it's really true. It's hilarious. But I think that's what's so cool. Like the soundtracks for our industry, right? Like other industries, you're like, oh, you have 3 songs about painting houses and working on cars.
Yeah.
The entire music collection of the universe is about smoking weed at the end of the day. Let's admit 99% of it is cannabis. We can make soundtracks on soundtracks for our company events. It's endless.
All day.
I mean, the beginning of what, every other genre, grew into fruition into was from jazz. And you listen to Billie Holiday, you listen to, Dizzy Gillespie, any of them. They had their songs about it. I did find out that, is it Eric Clapton has a song about cocaine? I did just find that out this year.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Interesting song. But yeah, so here's the clip that we wanted to share real quick, guys.
And Roy's holding his stomach in the whole interview too. If you notice, he's like, "I'm totally fine. No, it's good. I'll fight him again. I'm gonna go back and let my family talk me out of it." Yeah, and then we'll see. Oh, my stomach moved again. Let me hold this back in.
He was hella out of breath. He don't need to do it again. I mean, dude.
No.
You were slurring, it was hard for you to maybe put some thoughts together. I didn't know he was from Florida. That adds to it as well. Sorry,
that was
Florida.
funny.
Sorry.
That was funny.
I know that you guys live in a very special state. Great.
Oh, I love Florida. Some of my favorite people are in Florida, though. Their cannabis scene is very interesting over there, for sure.
Really? I didn't know this one because I thought they were everything was so strict.
They have medical, and it's fairly broad. Not like our medical program that's essentially CBD, capped at 0.5. We do have a medical marijuana program. A lot of people don't know that. Texas does. But Florida's is like a legit program. So they're farming, they're doing a lot of interesting things. If you notice, a lot of the CBD brands are like based in Florida too, interestingly enough. I'm not sure. My only conclusion I've come to on that is that Floridians love vacationing in Colorado. So I feel like I have no other logical reason. I'm like, how did everybody in Florida get into CBD first? Like, it doesn't make sense geographically. They all go to Florida. They all ski. It's like you want to go ski. When you live by a beach, you got to go ski. When you live in Colorado, you go to Florida. Like, you know how it is. We complain it's too hot. We complain it's too cold. It's what we do. We're humans. So that's my only logical explanation. But they're hot and heavy in the CBD game and the MMJ game for sure. For sure. Cheryl Murray Powell, one of my favorite people in the whole world, amazing cannabis attorney out of Miami, Florida. And she runs or founded, we're actually in a mentoring group. It's called Cannabisiac. And definitely encourage anybody to follow Cannabisiac. It's a really awesome cannabis co-working mentoring group. Some amazing ladies. Pretty much all. I haven't met a dude yet, so I don't know if it's meant to be all women, but like it basically is. So really incredible. Yeah, really incredible group of people.
Yeah,
so
they're getting it done. For sure, you know, in every state, cannabis tourism is really like it's calling up there. You know, there's a lot of innovation that's coming up, and people that are integrating it in things that normally weren't. And so it's something that I feel it's gonna come to every state soon enough.
It definitely is.
Yeah,
I mean, isn't it gonna be so nice to go to like a full resort where they cater to you, and you know, you get up in the morning and maybe
like you have your happy hour.
Yes, and the table, and there's just like a nice little freaking bowl full of
or a thing. Yes.
Yeah. So I nominate Jamaica because this time last year we were about 2 weeks out from a cruise. We went to Jamaica, and our taxi driver gifted us with 3 of the fattest, best freaking joints. I mean, the terp profile on them, I felt like I was breathing easier smoking. I was like, what are you guys doing over here? And I'm like, it has to be the fact that it's paradise, you know, and of course the plant is going to thrive more in a beautiful place like that. It was fire. People think they smoke like, you know, freaking swag or, you know, more CBD-esque. They do to elevate, and it's for their wellness, but they get high because this weed was fire. Shout out to Teddy.
Nice.
Yeah. And so amazingly, there is such a place, and it is in Jamaica, and it's called Coral Cove. And it's a cannabis resort founded by our friend Keiko. I saw Keiko yesterday on the MJ BizCon, so there's like 150 people. They split up into speed networking, and I'm in a group of 8 people, and it's like Keiko, and it was Keiko came in, and I was just like, of course. But she's really incredible, real deep in the cannabis tourism scene. She's on the board for the California Cannabis Tourism Association.
That's how I know. I've been researching since we spoke last. I've been researching.
Amazing group.
They had, you know, any, you know, just kind of any resources for me, and you know what the next venture is. What I, you know, talked about with you ladies.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and that's what you said the name. I'm like, I know that, and I'm picturing the logo.
Yeah, they're an awesome group for people that are looking to bring tourism in as an education model into their state. Like, they're great. They're called California, but they're open to people across the country. And they're the only group that's doing this, like lobbying for cannabis tourism. Yeah. So highly recommend joining them. And we still haven't Keiko's invited us out a couple of times to go to Coral Cove in Jamaica, and we were going to go this year, and then COVID and everything. So I want to go. It's sometime we should all go to Jamaica, go to this cannabis resort, see what it's all about.
Yes.
excited.
And they grow there, I guess, too. It's like they grow, they'll show you the whole process. You're smoking.
It's a whole class about it too. Like, and that's the only way you can go. You can't just go as in like a vacation
And
spot. You
chill,
have to
yeah.
go and take these classes. So that's the great part about it. That they like, you get here and you're like, okay, here are your 2 ounces for the day, and you're like, wait, what?
And if
Like
I'm not
you will
mistaken,
use and you will use this throughout the day through certain routines and things that
Yeah.
are like done, and in the food when you're cooking it, when you're doing, so there's like a bunch of stuff that you get to
and they
do.
cover
So
this, if I'm not mistaken, there's like yoga, yoga and
yes,
cannabis go together. Like,
exactly, yes,
it's like hello.
bunch of
here.
activities.
Yes, yeah. That is so cool. So yeah, look how things connected here. So you
I
guys
know.
people cannot say the cannabis industry is not a viable industry. It is burgeoning. The relationships that are connected, that are being created, there's so much more substantial than what you see in like the Fortune 500 world, and those industries.
Yep.
And why? Because we all smoke. So quick, I want to know. I really would love to hear if you guys have and then I want to jump into advocating for cannabis and learning more about you ladies and what higher ed hemp tours, all the successes that you've had, and what your plans are. But really quick, I want to ask: have you guys had a Mary Jane keeps me sane type of moment, or something to share? Um, I'll start off by saying we all know that people are trying to act like we are not living in a coronation. We are. We have been for 9 months. It is real. Get over it. Okay. Stop being so self-centered. I can't stand people driving right now. I am looking forward to actually being back on a stay-at-home shelter so that when I do have to get on the road, it's so nice. Like all the
And
bad
no
things
one's there.
are not on the road. Um, I just, good Lord, if it was not for me, medicating before taking hubby to work yesterday, I would have cussed these people out, like at least 10 of them. I remember telling him, I was like, people are playing with me today. People are playing with me. Oh, and CVS pharmacy, please stop trying me every time I come in there. Just I am one of the nicest customers that you will ever meet. People say, my best friend says, I hate being on the phone with you when I go through check stands because I will stop talking to her and talk to the checker. And she's like, get off work. Don't do that. You're so nice. I go to
Daniel.
customer service. I talk to everybody. Taco Bell drive through, wherever I talk to you. But don't try me because I'm an Aries. So when you get to this other side, it's not good for anybody.
They're fire.
But thank you to Mary Jane for keeping me sane in those couple of moments, no matter how trivial they are. So, ladies,
Yes.
Amen.
you had a moment as a great moment, something that just elevated, or something where you like, ooh, woosah, if I don't get to this plant ASAP, it's gonna be problems.
I think Cynthia and I have these quite often because, we love our industry. We love all you guys, but there's a lot of new entrepreneurs in this industry. And, like,
Well, there's
like, I don't even know how to say it. I'm like, you just make the Calendly, like, it's just, there's so many things. The Zoom, like, just, it's a button and the camera comes on. Like, and yes, I understand it's hard. There's technical difficulties, but we're in month 900 of COVID. How have you survived without knowing how to use Zoom at this point? Like, because it's not, okay, like, hey, look, my computer, I'm having an issue, the camera's out. I get, okay, yeah. But, hey, do you guys know how to turn on this camera? Like, yes, we do, but we're not going to tell you until we smoke. Because Mary Jane keeps us sane.
Right. It's 4 buttons, people. I mean, like you said, we're in month 900. Zoom's worked out all the kinks thus far.
I mean, the biggest thing that I keep telling myself as I'm smoking is, you know what? Common sense isn't common.
Woo!
Common sense isn't common, and yeah.
Hallelujah to that.
And sometimes you have to acknowledge it, and I have to be like, it's all right. It's not you, it's me, apparently.
And as being in the cannabis industry, we know that entrepreneurs aren't just a certain age. We understand that there's a younger generation that, they are bomb cultivators, or, they're coming up with a new, resin pressed or rosin pressed or something. They're doing something
Yes.
fantastic, but yet they have never read a book on their own.
Oh, yes.
A
Yeah.
complete book.
grandma identified what they're passionate about and gave them their college money, and then they just went and started some things. There's a lot to be said. This is still an industry. There's still a business aspect to it. Hence why women are very much needed to create this industry, to keep it successful, and to keep it where it's not about the green rush. Where
To
we
nourish
keep
it.
For
To
real.
nourish it.
That's a kind of another one that we usually puff after is everybody wants to be the first. We're the first of this, the first of that. And we're like, why not be the best? I don't want to be the first. I don't care. Like if I'm the first, great. If I'm not, you want to be the best at it. So like, get rid of all this, the first, like we've been smoking this for 5,000 years or whatever. You're not the first. Jesus was the first.
Our ancestors were smoking and building pyramids, So I think your
Oh my
little
God,
idea
yes.
about a new freaking dab rig, it's great, but
You're not the first.
there's enough for us to eat. There's enough for everybody to eat. This plant is
Amen.
the oldest plant. It's
Yes,
not
it is.
not going out of style. It's not endangered.
And I feel like what people also forget is, as industries, they think they're competing against other brands and things like that. And it's like, wait a minute, but who are your consumers? Like, where are they coming from? Do you even know about? What do they know? Do they even know you are here? So let's all work first on getting the consumers educated. And then, yes, like it's a funnel.
For real.
Obama will sit down, during an interview and just go ahead and roll up, and be like, "Oof, this saved me during my 8 years."
I wish.
Our parents, they are ones that are going, "Did you try that new strain?" Instead of going, "Oh, I didn't get to the pharmacy to pick up my, prescriptions, my 17 prescriptions." It's
Or even my beer, my wine, even alcohol, something that is, something at that level, because everybody finds it so normal, so natural, but at the same time, they have so many parallels to the cannabis industry themselves, just how it's being nourished and how it's being cultivated in Maine. It's like, you're going to see craft things, and it's a normal thing that's going to happen. So why not?
Yeah. So, the timekeeper, the producer over here, I promised him, I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to keep them long, but great conversation." With some really good flower and great conversation, and we're educating, which I know we all are super passionate about. So, ladies, go ahead and share your journey and kind of your vision and your mission, and then let's go ahead and talk about advocating for cannabis at a local and state level, because you are in a state where I don't know much. I'm learning, and the more that I meet entrepreneurs there, and you guys have you have a little bit of a uphill battle, but as we kind of discussed before, you also have a hand up, or you have the upper hand, because you're getting to see how other states fail and how how their successes go, and then that makes it easier for you guys to to build your own community and culture. So tell us about it. You guys got together, you were friends, and you were like, all right, so this is what we want to do.
Yeah, for sure. I think advocating is a big part of what we do. We're really lucky that we have a very strong normal chapter here, Texas Normal, headed by Jax Finkel, who is just an incredible human and very intelligent, amazing lady. So we do a lot of things with them. They pave the way for the advocacy in the state. And I think the message that they always preach that resonates with us is that, this isn't a fight. This isn't about fighting. This is about getting our message heard. And in many cases, presenting it in the right way. And some people are like, well, that's selling out, and it's like, no, this is having a conversation with someone who is so different in mindset from us that they think we're insane. Like this is someone that has never seen, like us watching rugby and being like, what the hell is happening in this football game? Like that's essentially what it is. So we have to take this very basic, very human approach with them and be patient. Texas Normal, this is where Normal National Group was founded in Austin, Texas in the 70s. Here they've been at this.
Oh, wow.
How long? Yeah. So this is insane amount of time if you looked at it from their perspective, but looking at it from our perspective, it's like things are going really quickly here. So I think just kind of propping up the ones, like give praise and shout out to the ones that have been advocating in your area for a long period of time, because there's people they have, and sometimes they're a little like worn out right now, and they are angry, as they should be, because they've been pushing for this since the 70s. So we're not there to fight or argue with that approach either. We're just there to lift them up and let's get this over the finish line. And it starts at the local level. Like we're looking right now, Congress and Senate and all that's great at a federal level, but the truth is all of that happens in your neighborhood, at your city council, inside of your district, and then your state legislature, and then just up from there. So as many of those people as you can get to know, it's just so important to the mission going forward.
The movement. I love how you said that. So, starting off, a lot of people would say, well, why are they worried about medical? Let's just go ahead. It's my right to go ahead and smoke. Why that? And I think it was very, it was very structured, but it was good to go through the medicinal side first. Then let's go ahead and start working on the equity, and let's start working on the criminal. Especially if the fundamental, if the fundamental mission for everyone who is advocating for the plant is wellness for not just, ourselves, but wellness for the earth, because of how much it's going to fix it and help out, it's like we're advocating for wellness ultimately. So if we don't step back and, take that stance as well, you kind of forget and you dive into something else. So people need to remember, like, hey, why are you here? Why are you advocating, and how is it going to help? And never give up on it. Like, this is going to be something, we're going to normalize it. And guys, I'm not like trying to ignore, but I'm having to just share this great conversation. So I'm just kind of sharing, because you guys are definitely dropping knowledge. And if you are outside of California, I think we're kind of spoiled and we're like, we know it all. We're good. I mean, I used to drive around in college with my tray, which I still have from college here, in the back window of my car, and with weed on it and shit. And I'd be like, it's my car. They better not say something. Like, come on. Obviously a little bit of different time. I would hope nobody would do that now, especially with, the way that our law enforcement is, and you give them any reason, you sneeze at them, they have a trigger finger, but that's a whole nother episode. But so I think that what you ladies are doing, and if I'm not mistaken, you guys are pretty much the only, one of a few businesses like yours in your area, correct? Is it within the whole state, or?
Yeah, for sure. So there are a lot of tour companies that do hemp tours. I think what makes us different is that we both assist those companies in developing their curriculum, and then we also have our verified program where we verify the retailers and brands that are really doing things right, so that they can be on these tours that are even outside of our tours, because it basically gives them both a label for the consumer to know that they're the bar setter in the local industry, and then also tour companies to know that this is an exciting place to go to, and you don't have to worry because you know that they have insurance. They're doing all their processes right. They have a compassion for the community. So, but yeah, there's a lot of amazing hemp tours out there across the country as well that are doing an amazing job educating. I think what's really interesting about cannabis tourism is this is the initial place. Like 20% of our participants, it's their first time interacting with cannabis. So this is one of the first stops where people find cannabis is in a tourism environment. California has some amazing tours out there too. So it's really exciting, to get to have this hands-on experience and get to guide people on this journey. So we're really blessed to get to do it here in Texas.
So tell me about an obstacle, in the beginning where you guys kind of looked at each other like, "Whew, let's smoke and forget this." Like maybe not.
Oh man.
How about actually doing tours in 2020?
Oh, yeah, that would be tough. That'd be tough.
Yeah. I mean, we weren't very, very long into it. We were, a couple of years into it until we were finally getting our groove. And, it's one, being in the cannabis industry too, we don't sell any products, and yet still we face the same, as an ancillary business, face the same, hardships. Like we couldn't advertise a lot. And so we had trouble with our point of sales, and it was ridiculous. And so having to have those same struggles and really point it out kind of made us pivot. And then of course, COVID comes in. It just kind of made us pivot into a place where, okay, who is helping out all of these brands that are going through this in this time? And luckily, we had been working with a lot of great partners that continued our mission and understood what we were there for. So that's kind of how we end up monetizing on our end, through the partnership form, because we want everything for the consumers, or most everything, to be very cheap or free. That's how you get people to adopt. It's, spread the knowledge, share the wealth. It's not, let me pay you, pay me for knowledge. It's like, no, we want you to know what this is about. And through experiences and fun ways and setting them up with reliable, verifiable brands is so key, because like Leah said, 20% of the time, this is their first time. So imagine if they go to a place where people don't, the product is bad, they don't know anything, they can't really talk to you, and that's your first experience.
Or like the super loud,
Yes.
There's a couple here where in Central West kind of California, and they purchase old gyms, like old 24-hour fitnesses. So imagine how big those are. Okay.
Yeah.
And they keep that entire, layout. And I've never been in a room with so many older white people listening to Meg the Stallion, listening to, fuck the police, or listening to freaking just Mac Miller or whoever it would be, blasting, listening to hyphy, standing in line, and they're trying to get their Mary's medicinals, or they're trying to get their very low THC flower, their pre-rolls or whatever. So that was a crazy type of experience that I had being a brand educator, brand ambassador. I refer to it as a brand educator because you are doing so much more than being an ambassador for a brand when you're out there doing demos. I can't tell you how many times I got asked, "Oh, this is your company?" And I'm like, "No, I don't. I don't own Dom Pen. I don't own Lola Lola. No, I don't." But the relationships that I built with people, having people walk in and look like they are scared shitless, like they're walking into, the Saw movie or something, because it's so overwhelming. And after a 20-minute conversation, they walk out of there feeling like they know exactly, what to do, and a lot more comfortable, which is once again going to help the industry. It's going to normalize the plant. It's going to normalize people having the choice to, and the freedom to elevate their lifestyle, their health and wellness, and their quality of life how they see fit, not how we're told.
That's right.
Yeah. So tell me about, I think it's great that you guys partner together. I mean, I believe in purpose I believe in all of us having a purpose. And, you know, your purpose is embedded in deep into your passion. Now, what's great is when you have a collaboration like yours, where you guys became friends, but both of your career experience match so well together for you guys to be a success. Because Leah, you understood the business aspect side, you understood the development side. So I would understand that you would know how to go and approach these different companies to partner with. You know, I'm sure you both understand the importance of a business plan, you know, having a master's and everything, you being well traveled, you know, you coming from, I think when people meet people from the South, you know, especially somewhere from Kentucky, like you're instantly trusted, you know? And so the energy that you had and the story that you had, you know, in your upbringing and helping you to get to that place, that's something that is super inspirational, and it makes it where people are going to be less intimidated, and you're going to be something that is, easy to digest. And so when you guys made the decision, okay, education tours, how how big was the market there? You know, was it just, is it strictly still medicinal? Kind of explain that, especially with those of us that aren't familiar with the laws there.
Yeah, so we have a medical marijuana program here in the state. It is limited to 0.5% THC, which essentially makes it CBD.
Yeah.
So the funny thing was, a lot of us coming in, you know, in 2017, like we thought about being a brand. We weren't really sure what exactly we were going to do. Just Cynthia and I knew we were going to be in cannabis. And it was a real challenge because we weren't sure what was going to happen with the farm bill. But lucky for us in the state of Texas, when something gets descheduled at a federal level, our Constitution says we have to follow suit within, I think, 30 days after a written notice. So, you know, we were worried because we were like, are they really going to let hemp pass here with medical marijuana being 0.5%? And these three companies have paid $500,000 a year to get a license to sell CBD, you know, essentially.
Wow.
And so basically it did go through, which was really lucky for us. And last year, so our legislature meets every 2 years, which is really different. We do not have ballot initiatives like you guys do. So we can't like get petitions to put something on the ballot.
Yeah, which is,
so we really have to advocate and educate. So we, you know, and we got that done like 2 years ago. We were like, this thing is going through. There was this awesome bill that was going to lift the 0.5 cap, make it where basically a doctor who, let's admit, a medical professional should be deciding if cannabis is right for you, not the state.
okay.
So we had that ready to go. And in Texas, our lieutenant governor can stop bills from coming to the floor to be heard. So Dan Patrick, so this had the approval of Greg Abbott, a lot of Republicans, it was bipartisan, and Dan Patrick stopped that from coming to the floor 2 years ago. So we're hopeful that Joe Rogan has moved in and become best friends with Dan Patrick and smoked with him and Dave and everyone else. And Elon Musk is in town too. I'm hoping Elon has met, you know, hopefully Dan Patrick, Mr. Patrick, has seen his way on this. And the revenue for the state, now we know with COVID, where all the states are facing a crisis,
yes,
you know, there's been a poll that says,
lights, okay, he sees the light. I actually got
let's hope.
shots with Elon Musk when I used to work for Solar City, which
there you go.
I was in Vegas, and I looked at him and I was like, I recognized him from Family Guy. I was like, hey, he looks like Elon Musk. Took a couple shots with him, Grey Goose, and yeah, craziest thing ever. But
I'm a big Elon fan.
I love him. I love his quirkiness. I love that he just was like, you know what, fuck it, I want to put a car in space.
Well, he's now in Austin.
Yeah. I love his random 420 tweets. He'll just be like, did you know, like, whatever, 420 is half of 210 or double 210.
He has that super weed that they had in Half Baked, like that, you know, that pharmaceutical.
You know it.
You know he's getting some special stuff, yeah.
For sure. It's like grown on Mars and flown back just for him. Zero G.
Yes.
Because they probably are. You know how our government everything is. It's probably sneaky. It's probably already they're like, look, we
You
know
don't
that
even know. They don't even know.
so they're up there growing it already, and they're gonna slowly start taking the 1%ers out there. No. So so yeah, so you guys, I mean, you've had success. Tell everybody how long have you've been in business, and how you first started. Like, what was your service kind of list in the beginning, and how have you had to pivot? I love that you said that because my husband and I say that all the time, but we say it like Ross from Friends. Pivot. Yes, greatest thing ever. People that don't watch
Pivot,
Friends,
pivot, pivot, baby.
so good. But that's kind of the theme of this year.
Yes.
Coronavirus.
Yeah.
You guys are fucking
Pivot
shit
or
up,
die.
right?
Yeah.
Sit down, be
Yeah.
quiet, TikTok with your family, get in touch with your daughter who hates you, start baking that bread that you want, be an entrepreneur. This is what Corona and COVID was telling us. And because we have such hard headed people, they're like, all right, you go learn. You go learn today. Um,
Yeah. I mean,
so
it really did. We were slowly getting to this point, but I feel like if Corona hadn't happened, it would not have pushed us so much to do what we've done so far
mhm,
in
mhm.
setting up the education course and how it is. It's really, both blessings and curses depending on how you see it. Half full, half empty.
And
One
so much.
day I'm like, yes, let's go. The other day I'm like, Corona's still here.
Yeah, I can relate. Some days I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm loving it, doing good. My posts are great. Everything's great. I'm having things thrown at me. And the other times I'm like, why don't I just become like an Instagram, like bong girl and just fucking, do posts in underwear every morning and like hit the bong and why don't I just do that? Like you could definitely, it's the highs and lows of being an entrepreneur, and cannabis isn't easier. And as women,
And
we
women. And yeah.
Yes, yes, and women of color, having any type of flavor. It's like, oh, you wait, you guys have a brain in your head. You know what? Whoa, you can run a business. You don't just smoke. So have
Yes.
you? Yeah. So I love that you guys said that you had to pivot because I had to do that as well and refocus on my podcast and just kind of go at it alone, which I was terrified of. When for months I had co-hosts, and my hubby, who was my biggest supporter, was like, "It's called Menage with the Mary Jane Maven. Like you can do this. You're passionate about it. It's your purpose." So, tell me about tell me about a time that you can remember that stands out where you guys were like, you know what, this is my purpose. I'm a small puzzle piece in this huge, crazy universe, and I feel like I'm doing what I was meant to do. Um, have you guys had that moment, especially in the in the pivoting stage of your business so far?
Yes. I feel I feel totally like it's for some reason it feels so long, but it's been short. But it's
Mm-mm.
also felt so quick and so easy, yet so hard, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah, no, it does. It does.
Like
It does.
we have, yeah, like every person I feel that we've met has had a purpose,
Yes.
whether we saw it at that moment or later on, but it definitely
Mhm.
has played a role. And I feel like pivoting and being able to see that is great. And, I feel we're pretty flexible at talking to people and ideas and then going back and be like, should we, can we, yes, no, and yes, we're women, but we're also, business, and we do have to keep emotion out of it. And people forget that we can do that.
Oh,
We can
you
keep
know,
the emotion out of it. It's
yeah.
possible. So having a lot of that discussion beforehand and making sure that every time that we're talking to people, I feel it's easy. It hasn't been a difficult
Yeah.
situation. So, but at the same time, like I said, what's hard is setting up the idea. Coming up with the idea is easy.
Mhm.
Partnering up with people is easy,
Yeah.
but actually getting it done, that's the hard part.
That's the hard part because
So,
you're
but
always
luckily,
waiting on the other side.
it's
And
yes.
um, have you guys dealt with men in the industry that you can tell right away they're under, they're just underrating you. They are, they
No,
well, good.
never.
I was gonna say, seems like you will be
I'm
able
just
to handle
kidding.
it if you saw how it's coming. But yeah,
We have a name for them. We call them cannabros, and a cannabro is essentially someone who is the first, the best, the ultimate, the richest, the everything, and quick to tell you all of that.
I
Quick
am
to
Very
tell
so
you
quick.
for
their,
that,
yeah,
right?
quick
And
to,
The
they go,
cannabro.
yes, and they go into business with other bros, and like
yes,
they drive Maseratis, but they wear Birkenstocks.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
And they're all about the plant, but also the bank,
yes,
and it's a very interesting dynamic. Like they both want to be the biggest advocate who's given away the most and also the richest person that's made the most money in cannabis. And you're just like,
like they look up to Dan Blazarian.
okay.
They think Ignite was like the best cannabis brand ever.
Yes,
So
for
love you
sure.
guys.
yeah, and not only that, it's like, okay, it's one thing to think this of it, but then to turn around and then tell you where you're supposed to be in that place, and then be like, oh, and you can fit in my area this way, and we're like, do we want to fit in your area?
Cool.
No.
I don't really want to do business with you because you're not going to be in business, within a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even, yeah, exactly. Or even if
Yeah.
you are, it's not going to be the business we want to do, or associate or align. And
Yeah.
why? It's still early. Everybody is still learning. There's so many new players that are going to be coming up. Why?
And once again, the more that we help to normalize it, the more that different industries or sectors jump into it. I mean,
Yes.
Food and beverage is going to
Oh
explode.
yeah.
So
Oh yes.
for those like us who wanted to, to be in the tourism aspect, or like I kind of want to do it all, the media, the tourism, events, but being able to have that industry grow, and have those experts in that field, that's only going to allow for more collaboration. And we know
Yeah.
collaboration is like one of the best things you can do in business. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so, who would you guys say is your kind of like dream, partner, or or service, place, anything to be able to provide to your customers? Like, is there? I mean, like we were talking about coral reef. Is that something like you would love to be able to take a group of people there, or would you like to start your own, hemp tours Disneyland?
Yeah. Cynthia
Yes.
would. She loves Disney. I think that, a big part of our mission is reaching beyond the industry. And so, what I would love in 2021 is to partner with a tour company, like one of the top 5 tour companies in the US that are doing wine tours, city tours, something non-cannabis, and have them add in, who already has a clientele, have them add in cannabis tours into that, and just watch that explode with all these people who had never, like, really, I can do this cannabis tour in New Jersey or like Michigan or Idaho. Just kidding, you can't do it in Idaho.
And
Yeah.
you can eat, good cheese, and or
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's the other thing too, that it's like, it's the whole culture. I'm not trying to get you to buy a tincture or buy an oil, buy a pre-roll, buy this or that. It's like, we're trying to introduce you to the normality of it is,
Yeah.
and how, the stigma is really causing a lot of stir in the industry. Like, once people normalize it and we can put it on shelves and we are able to take it or, use it as we want, then I don't understand what the deal is. So putting that together with people and making it tangible with things like pairing it with wine, a lot of people don't want, they're like, no, it's wellness, you can't drink alcohol, you shouldn't drink alcohol and cannabis. And it's like, well, at the same time, it's for both. It's for recreation and for
Yes,
medicinal.
and you can take the alcohol out. There are several wine companies now. I mean, it is. There
Yes.
was one that I knew of, that kind of started out in Napa, the Napa County area, or kind of like Sonoma area. And now there's like 10, 15, and just from California. Um, you know, um, the hi-fi hops was the first beverage that was considered
Yeah.
like an adult. There's not, it was beer, but it's like an O'Doul's. It's like a near beer with cannabis in it.
It's
But
awesome.
yeah, but the more that people become comfortable with utilizing, baking, and hubby and we make our own intimacy lube. I have an event called Create and Elevate where, we teach people how to make their own massage oil, their own topical intimacy lube. Go ahead and
Ooh.
That's so
infuse
cool.
Leaf, who's our sponsor in this month's holiday box. So if you guys want this as a gift, definitely check out Monthly. But she's providing a recipe for how to make a can of milk, and then include some really good chocolate for you to be able to put together and make some nice hot chocolate can of milk. And including
Ooh, yeah.
oh my gosh, like
Monthly. We got to definitely follow Monthly
yes,
here.
yeah. So just learning about all the different ways. I am not shy to say that I've made infused, coconut oil and then cook for my family. And
Yeah.
that includes my children. Now, I'm not giving them a full freaking serving themselves, but just using a tablespoon and to go ahead and make some freaking potatoes or, make a stir fry.
Yeah. I
There's
mean, and letting
um,
people know that, there's different methods of
mhm,
consumption, not everybody know. They just think, oh, marijuana, you're smoking
smoke
it.
it.
It's
I
like,
don't like
wait,
the smell.
wait.
Yes,
Yeah, if that's what you don't want to do, well, there's XYZ. But,
yes.
there's more to it than that, because then you have to explain to them, well, if inhalation is going to be the fastest way.
Mhm.
So why would you want to take it?
Yes.
What is wrong? What is the issue? What do you feel? What do you need? And it's a very personal medicine, I feel.
Mhm.
It's a very personal, even recreation wise. A lot of people know what strand they like, what strand they don't,
Yeah.
what cookies they want to take, what edibles they don't want to take, because they're
And
like, no,
people
no, no,
pay for that
I
too.
don't want to feel that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. And
So
people
it's a
pay
very
for that.
personal, yeah, regardless
Yeah.
of it being. So it really matters why you want to take it, and what's your end game. How do you want to feel?
Yes.
So knowing
Yes.
all
And
that, and knowing terpenes, and
mhm.
bioavailability and method, like there's just so much.
Yeah. And my favorite thing to explain to somebody is they go, "Oh my God, I can't do sativas. I get so paranoid. I get this, and I go, you know what? This is what it is. Everybody's chemistry is different. Okay.
Yeah,
It's your endocannabinoid system. So I tell them the nose knows, like plain and simple. Smell the flower. If it smells attractive and sweet and inviting, go with it. If it smells like hot ass, then stay away from it because more than likely you're going to react to it.
yeah, or
Um,
it makes you sneeze, or you're like, oh
yeah,
yeah, like
yeah,
itchy, powdery, like yeah.
yeah. Yeah, or like you're walking through the streets of New York, and it just smells like raw food. It's different things. Also, look at the plant. The hubby loves red hairs. He loves very crystal, dense buds with red hairs. These are things like a fine wine. Okay, we
Yeah.
before we had kids, we drank some wine and we were like, ooh, the tannins are stripping her. Okay, this is some nice. We like old vines in, and the way that you learn about that, or the way that if you're a craft beer drinker, you kind of learn that, and you're able to taste the tobacco and the leather and whatnot. You will start to be that same connoisseur with the cannabis, and because it is a plant and because it is part of science, there are some amazing things being done and what people are cultivating. It's fantastic. So, do you guys know of a brand that is just really um, the epitome of a good brand, a good clean product, honesty, also advocacy and equity. Do you guys have an equity program there? Are you guys trying to work on the inclusion, the social issues, the criminal aspects? Where I know normal is great for all that. So where actually is the state on that? Or do you, like I said, you guys have an equity program trying to help people?
There's nothing at the state level for that, but we do have decrim in a lot of, parts of the state. Again, it's a step in the right direction. We want full legalization, but that being said, it's great that for like less than 2 ounces, for the most part, in most counties, you're just going to get a ticket. So that's great. It goes a long way to making things a little bit more fair. We have some really amazing. We have some,
but you don't really need more than 2 ounces, so you'll be good.
Right, like I feel like you're okay. Like it always makes me laugh on some of the rules when you travel on like 4 ounces, 2 ounces. We have some really amazing partners. We have 27 verified brands that we work with. All of these brands have met our standards to basically, they have insurance, they have all natural ingredients. They're really the bar setters in the industry here. And just our whole model doesn't really lend itself to like the corporate or the chain stores. Mm-hmm. It goes better for the startups, which is who we really at the end of the day want to work with. These people that have a passion. I think here in Austin, we have three really amazing retailers that consistently set the bar for standards, and their products, their personalities, they're consistently have been on our Chronicle, which is, like our newspaper does the best of Austin. They're the finalist every year, same 3, and they're all 3 women ran, which is really, really cool. And that's
very different.
Totally different experiences and hitting their niche in cannabis. And they're all 3 friends, and they're great partners of ours. And that's Mary J., Joy Organics, and Restart CBD. And they're in the state. I consider them the bar setters really for the whole retail industry. They're just amazing. So we're really lucky that they believed in us, and we've gotten to grow together.
And we really like it that, the bar setters happen to be women-owned companies, and Mary J as well, LGBTQ owned, and, they all, Restart is, they're all sisters, family-owned as well. So there's a lot of uniqueness to each story, and I feel that everybody has, not just a niche of it, but why they're in that community, specifically. So it's, and they get the love too, it's been really good. Yeah, great seeing them.
Really good, close-knit kind of community there. I mean, you guys are larger than California, and I know that, you become friends and you get in like Facebook groups, or you become, friends through acquaintances through social media and whatnot. And I think that for California, it's more widespread. Because of our I don't want to say introduction, but just how it was like, okay, we want medical, we want recreational, and it was a long fought process, but it was a little easier here,
Well, you guys have so many more brands there too, obviously.
Oh my gosh, like it's just flooded. So it's very endearing. I love that you guys are able to speak about these individuals, and every name that you say, I'm like, oh my God, I follow them, or they follow me.
Yeah.
You guys are all doing such amazing things.
Yes.
Do you guys feel like you have a story to tell that comes along with, your purpose, or one that you share, like when you sit down with somebody, to start going over things, and, like you were saying, Cynthia, it's a very personal, thing, to start the cannabis wellness kind of regimen and living that lifestyle. Do you have a story to share that makes it easy for them to then go, oh, okay, I can relate?
And like one that I think that comes to mind is specifically so Nicole, who was our creative director, and still is part of our team. She was doing, stories, posts on all of us, and she did a story, about me and everything, and tagged it publicly. And this was the first time really me coming from my career in the education business, 1, and then 2, with my family being in my social media atmosphere, that we're able to see it, like
she got doxxed.
We're friends with everybody, grandmas, aunties,
everybody's on
cousins.
Facebook. Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, oh, wait, why did you put, and then that initial reaction to me immediately was like, why? Like, why did I have that reaction, Mm-hmm. But for having that reaction, I feel like many people did. And going and talking, and now, talking and meeting a lot of people in the industry, especially in Texas, they tell me the same thing. They're like, oh yeah, we sat down, the first time sitting down with my mom, the first time having to tell her, like, I have a CBD business, I'm thinking of starting to sell this. Yeah. And we're not even selling any products, we're just educating people about the plant. But it was one of those situations that it took a while, but I think it's there, and you have to take that step. It's one of those things that if you want to destigmatize it, it's part of life.
You got to be fearless about it. So did religion play a big part in like your family's like, don't do it, you're not supposed to? I would imagine coming from Mexico, that your parents are probably like,
yes. For sure. I mean, I feel it's very funny because my mom is not really super religious, but my mom's family is, so all my aunts. So it is very important what they think. So that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
And so of course, all growing up and doing everything, it's like, oh, so and so was doing, marijuana, and so got caught doing this, selling, or smoking, and it was always just put in such a negative way that to me it was like, oh, that's it. It was worse than drinking. Which now, I don't even think of that as, no way. I think drinking is way worse.
When I drink too much, I need that plant, or I am for shit the next day. Like it is killing. I mean, we all grew up during the, don't do drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Or
dare.
The dad found, the kid's weed, and he's like, "Where'd you get it from?" From you, Dad. I learned it from you. And it's so different now. My boys know it's medicine. And you're not to do it because you're a child. There's no other reason. You're a child, and I said so, but being
the same
honest
reason why you're not drinking alcohol as a child.
Right? Yeah. The same reason I don't take you to the strip club or, anything else. Like, come on. So I think when you, especially with this generation, you have to be honest, because they're too smart and they have access to information like we didn't. We have to go to the library and look up shit. They can just simply, take out their phone.
On their phone, yeah.
And come back and tell you you're wrong. This will help me. I feel like I have ADHD. Why can't I do it? So you definitely have to be savvy as a parent. But even as an adult, you have to be resolute in your reasons for why you utilize cannabis. And I had gotten to that point where, going to my mom or dad's house or grandparents' house, smell good. You remember I used to have a smell good kit before I went back into work, hand sanitizer, lotion, Altoids and spray and everything, and eye drops.
Yes. Everyone has that Altoid box.
Yeah. I remember thinking like that. I was like, I don't care. Like, what are they going to say? Like, I'm hella grown. I live in my own house, and I'm doing what's best for me, and for my lifestyle. And that
for your lifestyle.
Yeah,
for your lifestyle.
That's where I want people to get, especially women. We take on a lot. We take on a lot of, our community's issues, and things like that. We're just nurturers. And we put our health to the wayside. It's always on the back burner. And instead of popping a Xanax, instead of popping a Vicodin, instead of drinking that red wine and then going to pick up your kids from school, go ahead and hit a freaking pre-roll a couple of times. Get a vape pen, learn to microdose, drink some tea. Get cannabis oil capsules, take it like that. There's so many different things that you could do that helps make you better. I know I'm a better mom. I think I'm a better wife. Just able
That's
to
what I tell my husband. I'm like, aren't I so much better now? And he was like, I can't argue with that.
Couples that smoke together, I'm telling you, we have some, we endure. I say this all the time. You can get in an argument and you'll hear one of the partners like rolling up. You'll hear like the grinder, or you'll hear something, and you guys could not have talked, but all of a sudden it's like, you want to smoke? And then what have we just argued about? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it seems like it just.
Yes. It's because you know why? Because you're friends. Because you're friends too, and smoking and sharing that is just it's something else too. People tend to miss that out.
Yeah, they
And
definitely.
it's a culture. It's a
Yeah,
culture and it resonates.
and they confuse it. And I know I
Yes.
wanted to shout out, our definitely. I want to talk about your education. I want to talk about what you guys have coming up in store in 2021. I'm saying, I'm coming up with the hashtag. I'm saying like we're sliding out of hell into 2021. It's gonna be something cute. I'll let you know. But everything's gonna come to fruition. You know how everybody went into this year super excited, like that the excitement around coming into 2020 and like a new millennium and people are gonna do better and they had plans and then like I said, COVID was like, sit down. Um, so I think that the frustration of being home and things like that and everything we've gone through, socially and politically this year, I think it's going to give people that let's go ahead and go into 2021 and let's make this year our bitch. So I'd love to know kind of what your mindset is on that. But before I do want to give a shout out. This is a new segment, guys, and this is what's the 411 with 420. And we've kind of the ladies have kind of talked about this. We've talked about things becoming legalized and us working through our political system, checks and balances, never giving up. So things like what happened 2 days ago occur. And I want to be so young and able to smoke again that when shit becomes just completely legal, I can go dumb. Like I just want to go on a tour state to state and try out weed. But the legislature, what form was it exactly? I don't want to sound
The
like
more
the House. There we go. The House passes a landmark bill decriminalizing marijuana, guys. So they have finally,
Federally?
yes, yes. Oh, have you didn't know? Yes, yes.
Yeah. It
Yes.
still has to go
Oh,
through the
wow.
Senate. Has to go through the Senate, but
We know, look, with Nancy Pelosi and like Schumer, like I mean, and then all this great senators, like AOC, come on. If for you guys to be in politics like that, you have to smoke weed. If not something, a little bit more on the powdery side. But there's a lot of them in there that try to act all high sedity and straight laced and I don't drink anything but very expensive whiskey or bourbon. And it's like you roll up just like everybody else does.
John
So
Boehner, we know.
right, um, and because we know it's all been a big lie anyway for years. So now, how long are you going to keep the lie going? You have people that are fighting back. You have more than just the brown people that have been disenfranchised, fighting back. You have advocates. You have people that are backing them up.
There's a voice.
Yes, when you are getting young, educated, Caucasians that are supporting brown people, they're like, oh shit. All right, well, now we got to go ahead and let's work with everybody because
Yeah.
you're not separating them anymore. So it's not like we only have to deal with them and not with them. Now you have to deal with everybody. So
Yeah.
they have decided, like I said, and you guys, please definitely, all you got to do is ask Auntie Google. But the information that I'm getting is from the New York Times article. And yeah, they are basically saying that they want to start expunging nonviolent marijuana related convictions. And, hopefully the Republicans will not act like petulant children. And we'll be able to keep moving this up the food chain. And, Kamala will be like, hey, guess what, guys? Light up. And we can all just sit in the streets and
I don't know. That would be pretty amazing if that's what she said, but right, it's like we should just envision it, right?
Yeah.
Envision it and maybe.
And
But for sure, I mean, it's a great step, just to have one, part of Congress, already doing it, and we got one more step right now. Come on, y'all, it's so close. Everybody's seen that in 2020, the cannabis industry has not gone down. It's only gone up, and that's one of the few.
Those numbers were crazy at the beginning. I know March, April, and May. First, it was alcohol sales. They were like skyrocketing. It's like Postmate alcohol delivery services now, equivalent of that is just alcohol. I'm like, wow, okay, you can get that through Postmates, but all right, let me go ahead and just have a straight alcohol delivery service. But more importantly than not, this is why storefronts and dispensaries became essential, because not only do you have veterans, not only do you have people that are terminally ill, people like myself who, multiple sclerosis lives with them and it helps, or whatever else, or you just need it because you don't want to go crazy each and every day just to get up and go to work. They realize the importance of it. And plus, if you guys were keeping people at home, you have to allow us to do something.
But also,
Yes.
congressmen that are coming out with weed companies
Yes,
at this point.
yes.
I forgot his name, but the dude used to be over the Senate before McConnell was the last Republican.
John Boehner.
Yeah, he kept on voting against weed, and now he has like 60% or 40% in a weed company.
And that's the shit.
Yeah.
And he's just doing it for another way to go ahead and, pad his bank account and build generational wealth, where this opportunity belongs to those that have been disenfranchised the most. This belongs to, I would love to be able to see grows on Native American reservations and being able to provide them with, some consistent income, provide them with the opportunity to own their homes, not just, because here's the land we gave you guys because we fucked up years ago, like being able to give them, headway. Of course, for, the Black people, of course, women. I think that this is a social issue answer. We can completely eradicate the poverty level. I think we can eradicate the education.
And there's so many levels of work for this industry.
So many. Okay. I mean, people that are making t-shirts, people that are making packaging, people that are making the child-proof packaging, people that are having to provide the gelatin for you to make your freaking edible. Advertising.
Yeah.
I mean, I started not knowing what the hell I was going to do. And then everything just kind of came to fruition. I was like, oh, all my years in sales and consumer, client base and things like that, I'm like, I got this. And it just kind of fell, into it. But that's part of the reason why I want to educate is because I want to be able to help others find their place, whether it be a bud tender, and then you move up and you become the manager. And that's what you do. You're doing that instead of working at 7-Eleven or Walmart and being a manager. You know what I'm saying? Like there's better opportunity. I would love to see, Black farms, Black, brown, women-owned farms. I would love to be able to see communities built, from cannabis. I know that I want to buy some land. I want to grow. Don't come fuck with me. It's just the opportunity. There's so much and just endless possibility of this plant. So speaking of that, what do you ladies see for yourself next year, or kind of what can you share about any plans coming up? Definitely tell us a little bit about your education services as well, and how people can, log on and take some of those courses. But yeah, share with us, ladies, what is 2021 looking like?
2021. So you can go to our website right now, higheredhemptours.com. And if you're a consumer interested in hemp and CBD and cannabis and how all these things go together, we have a free course called Intro to Hemp. And it's narrated by our other co-founder, it's the three of us, Captain Cannabis. So it's really interactive and entertaining. And Cynthia put this course together. We really just brought it into life altogether, and it's awesome. And we have some plans in 2021 for some more consumer education, free consumer courses that are going to cover things like pairing wine with cannabis, pairing cannabis with the movies, picking out movies to go with your favorite strains, etc., just to really try to keep it fun and entertaining. But then on the retailer brand side, we have a program called Hemp Business Builder. You can find that from our Hemp Tours website or go to hempbusinessbuilder.com. And Hemp Business Builder is a series of training courses for inside the industry. So retail operations, brand marketing, store design, startup, industry networking, just a variety of different courses that we've collaborated with some other really amazing people in the industry. And then Cynthia curates all those as well. So super stoked about all of that, expanding all of that going into 2021. And then Cynthia, you could probably talk about, we have some initiatives inside of Spanish as well.
Yeah, I think, well, 2021, we're definitely going to be more consumer focused. I feel these past couple of years, we've been working on, building our industry networking, because ultimately we want to make sure that we have the right people to take people on these tours. That's the ultimate goal, is to connect. And so now that we feel we have a good base here in Texas, in a variety of cities in Texas, next year we want to focus on consumers. And being that we are in Texas, we want to start translating a lot of everything that we have into Spanish. So our free intro to hemp right now, that's all in English. We want to switch it to Spanish and, really focusing more on the culture, the stigma, and, make it to where it's understandable, put it in an educational way, and hopefully in a fun way to where they see it. Oh, okay, it's next to me. Let me see the history. Let's understand where these words are even coming from. Why do we use the word marijuana?
And let them know that there's opportunity for them to possibly be entrepreneurs or pivot from working, the job that they work and, and not being able to provide the quality of life that they came here for, or that, their parents before them came here for, or whatever it may be. Like really this, this American dream.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just opening people's minds to the over 25,000 uses of hemp alone. It's like, oh, wait, I can do this in construction. Oh, I can do this, and it's like, yes, you can. So it is. It's opening a lot of people's minds and hopefully allowing them to maybe even, create their own product or create their own space in the industry. Because it's something that's, this plant is here. It's a natural thing. Why should it be limited to certain people, So
I mean, especially
just making them aware.
In history, or your family, maybe you grew up, kind of farming or production or whatnot. You guys can come up with like new soil. You guys can come up with a way to save water. There's so many avenues. So yeah, I think that's fantastic, because that language barrier is a huge obstacle to overcome, in the education. And like I said, in the,
I mean, Mexico is doing so many great things right now in legislation with cannabis. They're going all in, and pretty much it's legal right now. So
that's awesome. That is so awesome. So ladies, I want you to take a moment to go ahead and just shout out all of your social media. Like I said, explain a little bit more about how people can get in contact with you. And I am going to be right back while you do that. The hubby is going to stay on.
Awesome.
Sure.
You can find me on LinkedIn, Leah Lakstins. That's Lakstins. Do a lot of chatting there on LinkedIn. Also on Instagram at Hemp Tours, Facebook at Official Hemp Tours, Twitter HE Hemp Tours, and I'm missing one. Oh, on YouTube, LS Media TX. And then I think we're on TikTok too, right, Cynthia?
Yes, we are at Hemp Tours.
At Hemp Tours.
If we don't keep getting kicked off. I thought I had it.
We get regularly banned.
We get regularly banned on TikTok. And
why though? What are they banning you for?
So the hashtag Hemp Tours is banned.
Oh, because it says hemp in it?
Apparently.
Well, yeah, because I've reposted, done the exact same videos just without any hashtags, specifically hemp tours, and it doesn't get flagged, it doesn't get shut off, it doesn't get notified. But the minute I type that in, all of those do. So if you see it on the admin side of the hemp tours, it's like every other square is blocked. And then the problem is, that we get banned, and so we can't really interact for about a week or two until this gets resolved. So, I mean, it's crazy. We're not even showing or selling anything, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, I was
you're
gonna say
showing.
people smoke on TikTok and do all types of things, and then just because of hemp, and that's not even
it's federally legal, y'all.
So ridiculous, but that's the life.
That's how you know that it's bots. It's bots, and it's really seeing what happened.
I'm coming in at the tail end here. Excuse me, my hazy IPA was just rushing through. But I posted on TikTok, and because I was like, you know what, I don't, really want to flood TikTok with, well, who's gonna, look at cannabis education, who's gonna look at brand, recommendations or product recommendations on there. Like everybody's doing a dance, me included.
Oh no.
But however, I'm noticing it is a great market for marketing and for advertising. So I said, I'll go ahead and start one. I did a post about cannabis and sex. And it was like, smoke, meditate, masturbate, repeat. Do you know they blocked it, flagged it? And I'm like, wait. But you have people on here doing a dance to Body Yada 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 Yada, which is a cracking song, or WAP. Like you had a whole WAP dance. But I can't talk about the wellness of it was pretty crazy, but
it's ridiculous.
I'm not sure if you guys follow Tyler Therapy. She also goes by Bad Mother Puffer. She is somebody that has made TikTok her bitch. Like she has, last time I checked, it was like 35,000 followers.
Wow.
And this is just from her she makes, she does product reviews and she's very creative. She went to like performing arts school. She's a singer. So she'll make like she calls them bops, for certain brands. And that's how she kind of blew up. She was creating challenges on TikTok. She has a great following. And I think that she is one of the smartest content creators there is. And like I said, she has made TikToker bitch. She's had to start like several Instagrams because she has so many followers. And she's not boastful about it. She's just one of those women that have like an incredible amount of pussy power. And she is a great, inspiration to others, just like you ladies are. I feel like I definitely have my mind has been racing just like our first phone call. I definitely have some ideas about, how we can collaborate and maybe provide a new niche in education, which I don't think anybody really considers, but I'd love to share that with you guys. And, I will speak it into existence that we will physically meet one day. We're going to have a great session.
Yes.
I expect to see you guys on like the top list of women in cannabis in Texas. I fully expect that. And I don't know if you guys know, I'm a little psychic. So
I love that.
Yay.
So one last thing, I wanted you guys to, like I said, really highlight Texas. Is there a brand that is, doing great within equity, that is a, BIPOC, woman-owned brand that are doing fantastic things? And guys, this is a segment called Colors of Cannabis, where we're going to highlight and give roses to those brands that are meeting those, the criteria of what I just discussed. So can you guys think of any brands that you would like to, inform us about, or you kind of want to, toot the horn for?
Yeah, the one that comes to my mind is we have Diamond Dynasty. They're Diamond Dynasty 7 on Instagram, and they're veteran-owned, Black-owned, husband and wife who are amazing people. And what they're doing for their community is just incredible, because there's a huge stigma around cannabis still with veterans, like the VA basically being completely against it and saying, we're going to yank your health care if you guys test positive. And here they open this shop right by Fort Hood. Like, no, you know what? We don't care. We're going to blow the stigma. They're rolling CBD blunts in there. Like, it's incredible. And so shout out to them for sure.
I'd love to hear that because veterans need it. And they are a market that is, you know, I don't want to say they're silent, but they're kind of forgotten about. You know, everybody, you know, you have parents that are talking about cannabis for their child that's sick, or, you know, women being able to use it, or whatever it may be. But nobody talks about these individuals that we send to war. We give them trauma, and then we don't take freaking care of them, you know, but we give them Oxycontin and shit like that. But we don't say, here, use this natural plant. You know, I've worked very closely with a couple of veterans, and let me tell you, I've had some tears, you know, just how validating it is to know that you're helping them, and then allowing them to see that, yes, I am going to be able to live a good quality of life, and that, you know, hopefully that will prevent them from having thoughts of suicide, because we do know that is a large, you know, a large portion of the population when they're not treated, you know, and it's very sad. So I love that. So shout out to them. I'm about to follow them right now. Shout out.
Hell yeah.
Love that.
And of course, Can I Work? Shamika's our girl. We love her so much. Everything she does for the community is incredible.
She's super powerful.
Bringing people together from Texas and all over the country. And I have no idea how she does everything that she does with the time that she has. She's incredible.
I don't know. I don't know what alternate universe that she has found more hours in a day in, but she does.
For real. She does.
It looks like she's about 32 years old, talking about, you know, I'm like, girl, stop it. Stop playing with me. Or stop. No,
for real.
She's awesome.
Every now and then you'll catch her slip, like high school in the 70s, and you're like, wait, what? And no. 80s.
She's like, I was doing the bump, and oh no, was it? No, but it's awesome to have women of all walks of life, all age ranges, because we tend to learn from each other, and like I said, and continue to build upon the community. Let's look back in our history, the storytellers, the women that were, you know, the healers, the ones that were the keepers of stories, the ones that, you know, birthed the children, whatever it may be. Everybody had a role, but it went through community, and it went through sharing, and it went through caring about other people and wanting to see other people do well. And that's what cannabis can do. I say all the time, if the world were like Disneyland, where they pumped all those good smells, because you know it smells so good at Disneyland, because like they have machines that pump out all those sweet smells. So if we can just pump out some fire freaking tree and just into the world, you know, everybody would just, you know,
all our problems would melt away.
You know,
everyone would be just chill.
Yes,
chill.
like Pat Williams said, he said, fuck it if the electricity's turned off. I've got candles that I haven't used anyway. Like, it's just full of fuck all, and you'll just go up. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. I have this cannabis candle that I've been trying to light. Like,
see?
Look at this.
Perfect meditation. You know, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Oh, see, another fantastic business. You guys like making candles? You're one of those.
Exactly. Yes.
There you go. Well, ladies, I can talk to you all night. I swore this was going to be a short episode. 2 hours and 15 minutes later. But I want to thank everybody that tuned in live. We had a couple of viewers come in. I've had a couple of, you know, comments and stuff on the live that I put on Instagram, shared through Twitter, and I tagged you guys. And what we're going to do is make sure all of the fantastic brands that you guys listed and provided tonight, I'm going and doing my due diligence and following them all and becoming a fan. You know, we got to keep this community together. I do want to just thank you so much. I mean, this was one of the most enjoyable episodes that I've had this season, if not this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Thanks for having us.
And if you guys didn't know, I think I told you before, this is our Pussy Power episode for December. So I don't know if you guys felt all that pussy power. But
yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much to my very special guest host, the fearless, the fabulous, the fierce, You know, just another F word, just fucking awesome. Co-founder
Yes.
Higher Ed Hemp Tours. If you guys are ever in the area, if you guys live in the area and you're interested, you want to do something fun, you know, with some friends, you know, when we can get back to normal, check out the ladies. If you're interested in becoming educated, you want to start a cannabis career, you want to just be able to tell your grandma why she should, you know, get off of the pain medication and start trying cannabis or CBD. These ladies are a great resource for you. So please make sure you visit their website as well as their Instagram. And this won't be the last that you guys see of them. I'm sure I'll be having them on again. And just a very special thank you, because I know it's a little later on your Friday there, but I really much appreciate you guys being flexible. And you guys have been awesome. Thank you so
No
much.
problem.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
We'll
for
see you
having
next
us.
time.
Happy holidays, guys. All right. Stay safe out there. And to my
Bye.
fam, see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in. So good.
Awesome.
Yes. Baby.
Yes.